What's up, guys? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about reserve rights and a price prediction for reserve rights. Now, I like the project. The actual early investors and current investors list is an immensely long list of heavy hitters, and I'll break that down as well as why I think this has a real potential of gaining some serious momentum in terms of price value. So, give me 1 sec. As always, I have to update the spreadsheet. And I have done, and these are the first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel that I thought would smash this bull cycle. And we are going to be back in a bull cycle sooner or later. I've had a bit of a rough time with Bitcoin in the last few days, but that's off the back of the BS stuff that was happening within Congress. Well, anyway, that's for another time. If you invested $100 into each one of these, cost you $2,600, you'd be in profit for $18,644. So that means you'll be sitting on about $21,200. That's pretty good for an initial investment. Phantom in the yellow because I said it'd be the best investment of the year. 182x at one point this year. I got in at half a cent, so did a ton of my Udemy students. That's made us all very wealthy, and we're all very pleased about that. I also called Yam as a coin that would collapse. I told everyone to get the hell out of it, and 24 hours later, it crashed, and it crashed hard. $500 million worth was liquidated, or was basically worthless. If you want to know the cryptos I'm in, check out Copy My Crypto. The link's in the description. These coins are absolute beasts. This is a beautifully balanced portfolio that is set to make some stinkingly good gains during this bull cycle. And there's some huge benefits to holding these as well. And if you want to know that, check the link in the description. It's well worth your time. Right, guys, let's get into reserve rights. So, excuse me. Right, reserve rights are currently priced at 3.5 cents, or 3.6 cents if we're rounding up. So reserve rights was launched in May of 2019, and it was actually an initial exchange offering on Huobi Prime. Now, the whole idea is it's a dual token stablecoin. So they have their own reserve stablecoin, which is RSV, which is basically priced at $1, right? Now, excuse me. The whole idea of the RSR token is it's used to make sure that the reserve stablecoin is kept at a $1 price target through a system of arbitrage opportunities. If you're unsure what arbitrage is quite simply, you can see it's just slightly shy of $1. Arbitrage is taking the opportunity of buying something, say on one exchange where it's underpriced, and selling it on another exchange. It's just taking the opportunity to benefit from the price discrepancies in two different places for the same asset. Now, the whole idea is that the RSR token helps maintain the stability of RSV, and it's used on like voting proposals and stuff. Now, what I like about this as a concept is it means that as stablecoin adoption continues, RSR should end up gaining significant value. So you have to bear in mind that over the coming couple of years and over the next many years, stablecoins are going to become far more adopted as an asset class. Hyperinflation is a major problem within the US, or is going to become a major problem. If you want to see why, there's a video on YouTube on hyperinflation explained through, I think it's Economics Explained is the YouTube channel, I can't remember. Now, hyperinflation has been experienced in Paraguay, Argentina, Venezuela, There have been economies that are strong. Argentina was a strong ass economy and it crumbled under hyperinflation. We are, and in America, you've got an inflation rate of 5%. Bank interest rates are about 0.06% on a savings account. So you're in negative interest in America. That's just a fact. Um, and there is a nice solution within the stablecoin community. You can put your assets into Celsius, BlockFi, Voyager, uh, Swissborg. There's tons, right? And you'll get a pretty good interest rate. And the highest I've seen so far beyond DeFi applications is Celsius, which is 8.88%. But when your inflation rate is 5%, you're actually still making some money. That's useful. Okay. Um, and that's going to be what ends up driving reserve forward. Now, that does mean that people have to actually use the reserve token. That's an issue. You're looking at $51,522 worth of transactions in the last 24 hours. That's not very high. It's not very high. It's concerningly low, in fact. Um, and even when we look, to be honest, the yeah, the volume's never really been all that good. Best volume was around here, and we saw 4.8 million. So volume isn't great, but the whole premise is very good. So RSR is a basket of smart contracts essentially that is used to assure that the RSV token stays at the target price of $1. Reserve rights has actually peaked out at around 11 cents. So it's about 3x, 3.2x from where it is. It's definitely got room to run. The actual investors within Reserve are immense. I mean, you're talking Silicon Valley, crypto, you've got Coinbase Ventures, Crypto Lotus, you've got Peter Thiel, who's a co-founder of PayPal. I mean, honestly, Jack Selby was a founding team. He was a member of the founding team at PayPal. Honestly, it's massive. It's in a really immense team. And excuse me, Chris Blair, who founded the Morgan Stanley Technology Fund. Yeah. So, like I say, I mean, you can. This is a massive Neo Global Capital, by the way, Neo Foundation. So they have strategically invested in this to bring more money to the Neo Foundation, right? XRP Capital, as in Arrington XRP Capital, digital currency groups. Yeah, massive, 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 massive. Fembushi Capital, everyone knows. Um, yeah, it's huge, it's huge. The actual investors within this is immense, and that bodes well. Fundamentally, you have to accept that that bodes well because what you want from an investment, or certainly what you want to see in an investment, if you're seeing people that have had, or people or institutions that have had huge success in terms of their investments, that bodes well, makes you more confident, certainly makes you more confident in your investment, right? And then I've gotten it at far better prices than necessarily 3.5 cents, but you know, it's still a good entry point at this moment in time. So it was actually last week RSR saw a pretty good breakout. RSR went up 32% on Monday last week, up to 3.2 cents. Now, part of the reason was we started seeing DeFi spikes left, right, and center. DeFi is important in terms of seeing those spikes, and DeFi is going to have that another wave without shadow of a doubt. DeFi is huge, and it's had a bit of a pullback over the past few months but make no mistake, a second wave of DeFi is inevitable. Um, so Vortex provide data for Cointelegraph, um, and they have said that there's a massively bullish outlook on reserve rights. If you actually look, it's probably up another 10% since last Monday. The jump in price follows the July 24th upgrade to the protocol, which now allow app users to deposit and withdraw money on Saturdays and Sundays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So that's obviously beneficial for anyone that's using the app. Now, the whole idea, so Reserve is backed by a small number of collateral tokens, each of which is a tokenized US dollar. So there's a ton of different ones. The reason being, by the way, is because it is feasible that, say, Tether, one of the stable coins collapses. There could be investigations, SEC, whatever. One of them could fall apart. So having them backed by a small number of different collateral tokens just secures the investment, right? Reserve is backed by a changing basket of assets in a decentralized way, but is still stabilized in price with respect to the US dollar. And that's the decentralized phase. And the independent phase, where Reserve is no longer pegged to the US dollar with the intent of stabilizing its real purchasing power regardless of fluctuations in the value of the dollar. Now, the key thing that they're on about there is ensuring that even if it goes off peg from the US dollar, its value will increase as a result of potentially the weakening of the US dollar, right? So it's almost like a hedge against the dollar. So the RSR is the one I'm interested in because the reserve token will pretty much always, well, it's going to be tied to the dollar, right? So the reserve right token, the RSR, is used to facilitate the stability of the reserve token of the key token, which is just the stable crypto. So what happens? Excuse me. So the main reason that people actually hold reserve or reserve rights, it provides people with an opportunity for arbitrage. So there is if you are holding RSR, it means you can buy RSV potentially on the protocol, but there's no, where's this? Right. So when RSV is valued at above $1, right? Say it's valued at $1.01, right? It's 1% difference. But you can buy RSV at $1 from the reserve smart contract using your RSR, and then you can sell it at a different market price on a different exchange for 1.01. And that gives you the opportunity to benefit hugely in terms of arbitrage. Now you're maybe thinking, well, what's 1%? But if you can do that 2-3 times a day, say you're making 2 or 3% a day, it takes very little time for that to compound. That's a really important thing. And that's why people hold the RSR token, is there's an opportunity to actually benefit from compounding your gains. Bear in mind right now, RSR or RSV, sorry, is under $1. Yeah, 0.9996. So there's a small difference. But today it was about 0.5% away from the dollar. So if you bought at the low of 99.5 cents, right, on an exchange, and then you sell it on the protocol at $1, you've made a small arbitrage, about half a percent. But yeah, that if you can do that 10 times in a day, you've made 5%. No, you're probably not going to be able to do it 10 times, but that arbitrage is the opportunity. Um, and it's a concept that's really important for people to bear in mind, particularly as um, those arbitrage opportunities exist throughout crypto on any crypto. As an example, if I check out reserve rights right now on the market, there'll be different prices at different exchanges. So you've got to think that through in terms of an investment. Um, anyway, the, my internet is dog crap today. Anyway, yeah. So in terms of long-term growth, as stablecoins gain, I really do see reserve rights, and as stablecoins become um, more widely used by the crypto community, which will happen, um, you can see reserve rights flying up. So reserve rights is actually from January of the 1st to March the 8th, it increased 320%. It went from like nearly 2 cents to 8.29 cents. They've actually made a typo there. Not good, Cointelegraph, not good. Um, but yeah, and the reasoning being that the stablecoins are getting the stamp of approval more and more and more and more and more. We are seeing tons of stablecoins out there at the moment, and hyperinflation. As I said previously, hyperinflation is a serious issue that is going to affect major economies. America isn't too big to fail in that regard. UK isn't. China isn't. Hyperinflation could kill some economies, and we've seen it in recent history. And Reserve offers a solution to that. I do see the long-term potential of Reserve being very high. 10x seems certainly plausible. It's currently priced at 3.5 cents. I would say a 35-cent token would be more than plausible. You'd be looking at about $4.6 billion market cap. See what I mean? My internet's dog crap today. But yeah, about 10x certainly plausible. Tell me what you think. Do you like Reserve token? I know there's a number of people that are really bullish on it long term. I've seen some crazy predictions of $10. Um, I would warn they'll put market cap of about 140 plus billion. I don't think we're quite there yet on Reserve. Maybe 5 years down the line, but certainly not this bull cycle. That's it from me anyway. Check out Copy My Crypto. The links in the description. See what I'm holding, why I'm holding them, and just see what I'm holding because this portfolio is balanced so beautifully. It is money to be made, and we're not that far from a trend reversal for crypto. It's going to happen sooner or later. I think we've got a couple of weeks before we start on a wave of bullish momentum outright. And you want to be getting in at the positions that are present right now because in a few weeks everything's gone up 30%. You're going to make a lot less money when that happens. Anyway, take care. Stay safe. Bye bye.